Hey everybody, I am the inconsequential runner. Usually at this stage in the video, I do a normal introduction. This is not a normal introduction. I'll tell you why. This video is a little bit longer with Coach Mark, but why I'm doing this special introduction is I'm saying it's going to be, this is almost a promise from me to you, this is going to be probably the most impactful video that we've ever shared. I've just finished recording this video with Coach Mark, and because it was so impactful, that's why I'm deciding to record this intro for this. So it is a long video. Hang around. I think it's going to, the tool that Coach Mark is going to share with you is going to be new, and it's going to probably make the single most impactful change to your running and your assessment of your running and how you can improve your running. So hang around, the video is about to start in 2 seconds. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am the Inconsequential Runner. We're joined here with Coach Mark. Hello Coach Mark.
Hey Darcy, how you going?
Good, good. Coach Mark, we have a doozy of a question for you. Now, just before I ask that question, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is our opportunities as runners to ask a esteemed coach some questions that we want answers to make running faster for us. So we're faster runners or more enjoyable. Now, the question we've got today, here we go, Coach Mark, throwing it your way, is how do we best do a post-run review? So we with a lot of the information you've given us up to now, thank you for that. It's helped us with our nutrition, helped us with our training, including hills, cross training, even how to breathe, how to stay composed, pre-race, what to do half an hour out, what to do 5 minutes out, physically, mentally, all those subjects we've covered in the last, I think the last month in our videos. This one is post-race review. So we've done all the good stuff. We've run our race, whether it's been successful or not in our mind, we need to do a post-race review. This is how the question's been pitched to me, because if we've done great stuff, how do we be conscious of what that great stuff is, that we replicate it? And if we've got lessons to learn, will help us with continuous improvement. What are those things? Coach Mark, do you have a post-race review for us, or something we can use, a tool or something like that?
Well, something I've used for many years, and I've just found it's great. It takes away the emotion, and you can structurally look at everything and learn from it. Every race is a learning experience. So I call it the 9 Ps, because they're effectively 9 things that I've managed to make start with P.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
9 Ps, 9 things that start with the letter P. Okay. It's, as we go through this list, I won't write it down, but I'll get it off you later. For those of you that are watching now, by the time this video comes out, it'll be in the show notes. So if you want to follow along, just click the drop down box, and whatever Coach Mark's about to go through with us now will be in the drop down box. Sorry about that, Coach Mark, but it might be handy for those watching. All right, take us through it.
Yeah, so they're all parts of our things that make up our performance. The first one is probably the most important, really, and that's preparation, which is basically did our training prepare us sufficiently to do the event?
Okay.
So if that's a no, then everything else is almost secondary.
Okay. Okay. I like
and
that.
Was it specific to the event as well? So did you have enough endurance, strength, speed, etc., for the event that you've just done? And that's a good hard question to ask yourself.
Actually, let me see if I understand what that one is about then, because sometimes, and this is before I had you helping me, Coach Mark, I'd have a generic sort of training plan, but I'd do very different events. One might be a 5K, one might be at a half marathon. Now that training plan would only be congruent with one type of event, not others. So is that something you're getting us to think about in terms of preparation? Was our training congruent with the race?
Exactly. So your training might have been ideal for a 5K, for example, but perhaps you didn't have enough endurance to do the half. or maybe you've done a lot of endurance, but maybe not specific 5K speed work to run a good 5K. So there's a couple.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, just before we get to the next P, something else I want to add to that, and this is a me thing, Coach Mark, but it might resonate with some other people. Preparation for me is also making sure that I get to the event with enough time to do a half an hour warm up, because sometimes, so you call it your pre-race preparation. Sometimes I'm late because I haven't planned properly in terms of the route I'm taking, packing the car with all the stuff and all of that. So when we talk about preparation, all of those things, so we're on the start line with the right skills, the right training, and the right mindset. Yep. Okay, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
There can't be any more P's. That's everything. But entertain me. What's the second P? There can't be.
I think that's the most important one, but there's certainly plenty of others. So I mean, this is particularly for longer events, but petrol.
Petrol?
Which is basically, did you have enough fuel or
yes,
hydration on race day? You know, were you fueled? Good. This is before, during, and after, and you can split it into those three things actually.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And, okay, so let me share with you my interpretation of that one too. I think when people talk about fuel, they tend to think about, you know, did I have enough for something like a marathon? But conversely, I think getting your fueling right means if you're doing 800 meters, making sure that you're eating at the right time. And for me, I found that it was 4 hours before the event. I almost had to start it a little bit hungry, because if I wasn't, then I could feel the food in my stomach. So it's about, is that right, Coach Mark? Irrespective of a short event or a long event,
that's exactly, and on top of that, it's hydration as well as the fuel. So, and hydration is so important, you know, of course, if you haven't had enough fluid inside you before a short event, or taken it during the event for a long event, that might be a factor that you didn't perform as well as you did. And again, or maybe you did nail it, and then, you know, you've got a template to carry on to future things. It's how we learn. Yeah.
And when we talk about hydration, and again, I don't want to go into too much detail because you covered this in another video just before, in terms of, and I think we called it, you know, not peeing during a race or something like that. I haven't produced that. So it's not just about being hydrated, but being rightly hydrated in the right way, where it's not a factor. It doesn't, you don't, especially for the longer races, you're not having to want to pee too frequently or something like that. So getting the hydration right. So those of you that are watching us for the first time or pretty early in your relationship with us, thanks for being here. There's a video earlier on about what to do 2 hours out in terms of hydration, so it doesn't affect you in a race, which was a lifesaver for me. Okay, so we've got the preparation, we've got the petrol. Surely that must be it. You can't tell me there's 7 more P's. What else is there?
Just starting. So that next one, something we're all familiar with, pacing. How many of us have come, you know, we've turned up an event really well prepared. We might be really well fueled, but we just leap off at the start line, go too fast, blown it. Race blown. Did we go off too fast? That's the main, so the main one is going off too fast, but sometimes we might go off too slow, you know. It's not all, or we surge, or there could be a number of ones, but it gives you a good heading to analyze how you went. And nowadays with GPS watches, it's very easy to get a readout on that. Just look at the graph, your pacing graph, and it'll tell you.
And your heart rate, so your speed, your heart rate. Yeah, if you've got a heart rate spike early on, and then you blow up and then it drops down a lot. Okay, I love that. Okay, so we're evaluating our preparation. I won't run through these because we'll throw them in the show notes. It's just, I'm hearing these for the first time. I'm loving them. So preparation, petrol, pacing. So these are all things we can self-evaluate. Okay, what else have we got, Coach Mark?
So pain, I've called it pain, but just because it starts with P, but it's really, did you come into the race were there any injuries or any niggles that might have affected your performance?
Nice.
You might have had a tight hamstring, you might have had a niggly knee that might have flared up during it, you know. These are all things that you think, oh, I didn't perform as well as I'd like, but that was a factor. And I wonder if thinking about that too, carrying, say, a hamstring strain into the race reminds you of how it may have come about.
or plantar
Yes.
fasciitis or something like that. So when you're doing your
Yep.
next block of training, you're conscious of it, and that should reduce the possibility of it reoccurring. You need to,
Yep.
you don't think about these things that don't happen. So, okay, I'm already sold in terms of your template, Coach Mark. Okay, preparation, petrol, pacing, pain. What are the others?
Next one, a silent P.
Silent P, okay.
Psychology.
Oh,
Psychology.
Okay.
So what I'm talking about here, that race day nerves is the key one. Were you unconfident going into it of your ability? Were you too confident? So which can be just as bad, especially with something like a marathon. How many people have gone to a marathon too confident? Fall flat in their face. Did they feel flat going into it? Too excited? Were there any other stresses going on? You might have have an ill child. You might have had a really hard day, a hard week at work.
Yep.
Might have been traveling a lot. All those sort of things. That these all affect our race day performance.
Okay.
And the things as well that maybe we could manage better next time.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. What else have we got? This is great. This is great.
So the next one's your personal ability. So this is really looking at your expectations. So you might have an expectation. You say, right, I want to break 25 minutes. I'm really disappointed I didn't break 25 minutes for 5K. But was that a realistic expectation? Was that backed up by your training? Your previous best might have been only 28 minutes. Was that realistic that you expected to do that? Maybe it was. So it's basically marrying up your expectations compared to your current form or ability. Maybe they could have been higher. Maybe you felt like, weighing everything up, you had more in the tank. You might have done a good performance, but you maybe could have pushed a little bit harder.
Gotcha.
So that sort of brings you back to realism. I think which is a good one.
All right, perfect. I'm making notes. I've got a couple of questions I'll ask you at the end with some of this. Okay, so what's the next one? This is great.
Yeah, so the next one, this is very important. So that's peaking.
Okay.
But again, you've done all your preparation, and you kind of alluded it. It's part of the preparation. So you alluded to that with your warm up. Well, the week before, did you come off all that great training and freshen up, sharpen up sufficiently so that you didn't leave it all on the training, and you're able to perform? So that's a very good one. So did you sharpen, freshen appropriately? Were you physically and mentally sharp on the day? Yeah. So all those things. So all things like sleep come into this. All those things.
Okay. All right. And we've got two more P's?
Two more P's. So these ones are things that might have affected your performance. So again, if you're analysing everything, you're thinking, was this as bad as I thought or as good as I thought? So the eighth one is place. So that's basically looking at, did the terrain, the conditions, the weather, did they affect your performance at all? Your time might have been a bit slower, but it might have been a hilly course. It might have been a particularly hot day. Might have been really windy. Yep. So they're all things of that. And then the ninth one is
hold on, just before you get on to the ninth one. So would place also, I'm thinking, especially with people new to running, or not new, but they might be trying new things. They might be trying Xterra, and it's got steeper terrain and stuff like that. By doing this evaluation on place, it will help you understand where your strengths lie and where some of the other challenges lie, because you've been thinking about the terrain and how you perform on different types of terrain. Okay.
You can bring that back. You can bring that back to your preparation.
Okay.
Maybe do a few more hills, a few more longer hills. Get used to training. Maybe the event was very early in the day. You're not, you might be a 6 o'clock start. Maybe all your runs have been after work.
Perfect. Gotcha.
Yeah, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's the last one?
Well, the last one is just apparel. So that's the second letters of P.
Okay, I can see why you had a right
See how it
smile
worked
on
them
your
all in,
face
though?
before you introduced
Yeah.
that one. Okay, so what are we thinking about when we're doing the self-evaluation and we're thinking about our apparel? Or what are we thinking about? I imagine you're going to say, oh, let me guess. You're going to be talking about the clothes we were wearing, but that might be all the way down to even like if it's Xterra off-road, the camelback and the stuff we took with us, and did we have all the right things? Is that the sort of thing?
Yeah, that's where it gets really for the big long off road events. This gets particularly important because it's all the stuff you have to carry. You know, your camelback, um, all the gear that you have with you. It should be tried and tested. That it cause chafing, blistering. You know, did you have the right shoes? Maybe your shoes didn't have enough grip for the thing you're doing. Yeah, all that comes under that. Did it function correctly?
Love it.
Yeah. And again, this is all learning for next time. If it didn't, learn and take that in. That's how, you know, the more events you do, the more experience you gain, and you don't make these mistakes twice.
I think what I like about this, Coach Mark, is there's a number of things we can do post race, and we tend to undercook. I think, as a generalization, we tend to undercook post race stuff, elements, and I'll talk about those in just a moment, to help us with our next race. Pre-race, we do all the training, we make sure we've got all the stuff, we enter the event, we pay the money, we overlay ourselves with gels, blah, blah, blah. But post-race, there's a couple of things that, you know, like a proper recovery, sometimes we short circuit that. Proper stretch down, proper warm down, sometimes we short circuit that. Post-race nutrition, sometimes we're a bit cheeky with that. What I like about what you've just presented with those 9Ps is it's easier than all those things, right? A warm down, it might take you 2 kilometers. You're running 6-minute Ks, 12 minutes, and then you got to do your stretching after that. This is a nice way. Once you're home, you're showered, you're chilling out with a pen and paper, you can go through and do some analysis and learn some really fundamental things for your next race. So I see the value in this, and I see, and this is where I'm going with this, that it's easy to do. My question for you is this: how long should we spend then going through those 9Ps? Because there's 9 of them. I imagine we spend a couple of minutes on each. So how long?
Yeah.
How long is the right length of time, and how long is too long? Like if we're spending 2 hours on it, we're thinking way too deeply about it. So what do you think?
Way too deeply. Yeah, way too deeply.
Okay.
Often you might find there might be only 2 or 3 things that you think I can, you know, I could have done that differently. They often leap out at you. So you a lot of them you can just go, yeah, that was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
You see what I mean? It actually makes things quicker than just trying to think, where did I go wrong? Where did it all go wrong?
Well, I think it's a lens to help you find where it went wrong. And as you say, what's the word? You're stratifying those elements that were okay, and you're filtering them out. But through this lens of the 9Ps, you're finding specifically, I suppose, the root causes for the performance that you had where you can improve. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a short process too. You're looking for
It is
2, 3, maybe 4 things. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what we'll do, I'll capture that. We'll throw that in the show notes. So team, if you're watching after your race, I think it's the easiest thing to do. Already I've got on my mind, and maybe I'm sharing too much information and saying this, but I like to have a nice bath. And yeah, I can see myself sitting in the bath with the pen and paper. And don't visualize any of this. Sitting in the bath with a pen and paper and just going through these things, because that's a good time for me to reflect on a race. And Coach Mark, thank you very much, because this gives us specific things to think about, so we don't forget something or we don't lose an opportunity to learn. I think those 9Ps are vital, making sure that we're covering all of it. Wow, that's awesome. Coach Mark, have I missed anything there? And well, I haven't really summarized it. I don't think I need to, but I've talked about how I'd use it. Is there anything else you want us to be conscious of in terms of we use it? So this wouldn't be
No,
after
not
the training session, of course. This is more, unless we're doing a long run and it's the longest long run we've ever done, then maybe it's helpful because, as you say, with the apparel, did it chafe? You know, what are we doing? So yeah, how often? Yeah, okay. Last question then from me, and then anything else you want to ask Coach Mark. I can tell I'm getting quite excited about this. This is a fantastic tool. How often would you use this? I think races are a given. What other circumstances might you use this to help improve your running?
I think generally a race, or yeah, as you say, if it's something that's it's some very important training session that you haven't done before, and you just want to learn from it. But so often we do a race and we just, if it goes badly, we just chuck the shoes in the in the corner. Oh, put that out of my mind. But then you just move on, and you might make the same mistake next time. Whereas just something quick like this, you can just go, okay, this, and this, yeah, I could have done differently, and then you can move on. Just note that down, and then put it. But you by doing this, you've almost drawn a veil on it. You've got the key points, and now you're looking forward to training for your next event.
Yep, perfect. Okay, I think you say it's quick, but it's super thorough. So Coach Mark, on behalf of everybody, and for those of you that have lasted all the way to the end of the video, I think you had great value in terms of sticking around. Thank you for sticking around, but I think there's great value in this tool. So Coach Mark, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it on behalf of everyone watching this video through to this point. Coach Mark, thank you so much.
Okay. Cheers, Darcy. Bye.
No worries. And actually, let me just add quickly to the end of this video, if you want to get in touch with Coach Mark, if you want Coach Mark to become your coach, all his details are also in the notes next to the tool. And you know what to do. If you like this video, just click like. It's free. It's easy to do. We appreciate it. We really appreciate it. It's great payback for us if you found value in this. And if you want to stay in the loop with other upcoming videos, hit subscribe and you'll be notified when they come through. Okay, that's it. That was the final word from me. Thank you very much. See you later.